This is Economic Impact. Conversations from Emirates Development Bank.
How has RAKEZ seen the evolution of Make It in the Emirates over the past 4 years?
Make in the Emirates is growing year on year. True testament to how manufacturing and high-tech industry is evolving in the United Arab Emirates.
Ramy Jallad, the CEO of RAKEZ, the Ras Al Khaimah Free Zone.
And it's truly sending a message across the world that the UAE is a destination to be in when you're talking about manufacturing, a global hub for distribution and supply chain.
Speed of doing business and ease of doing business
Absolutely.
are both gold standard in the UAE. What have you felt from the market over those years?
We've just commissioned a new zone dedicated to advanced technology, dedicated to high-tech sector, production, manufacturing and distribution locally and globally. It's called TechFlex.
Welcome to another episode of Economic Impact Conversations from Emirates Development Bank. We have another return guest today, a fantastic gentleman, Mr. Ramy Jallad, who is the CEO of RAKEZ, the Ras Al Khaimah Free Zone. Mr. Ramy, thank you so much for joining us today again. And I just want to start to talk about the event and where we are today. So Make It in the Emirates. How has RAKEZ seen the evolution of Make It in the Emirates over the past 4 years? And what have you felt from the market over those years?
Well, first, I want to thank you very much for inviting me on this podcast again. And it's great to be here. And, it's fascinating to see how Make in the Emirates is growing year on year. I mean, I'm flabbergasted myself with the event that we're at today, and the growth and the participants themselves is a true testament to how manufacturing and high-tech industry is evolving in the United Arab Emirates, and the success of our Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology, and the success of all of our economic zones and all of the Emirates FDI attraction in bringing in these players from all over the world to manufacture here in the UAE, and the support that they're getting from local, federal government is like outstanding. And it's truly sending a message across the world that's resonating everywhere that I travel, that the UAE is a destination to be in when you're talking about manufacturing, a global hub for distribution and supply chain. So that's how I'm seeing it evolve. RAKEZ itself is taking obviously a very strategic role in this area. Our FDI attraction in industrial and high-tech industry has doubled year on year. We are bringing in top-notch companies that I keep saying, all the way from producers in food sustainability, cheese, burrata cheese, to carbon fiber composites that go into Formula One racing and Rolls-Royce cars. So you can see the diversity, and it's just fascinating to be a player in this market with all the rest of our colleagues. It's
amazing. I mean, you touched on a bit of the diversity of the players that have come into the market over the last few years. How have you seen the market evolve from a supply chain perspective? The dependencies locally versus internationally. Have you seen any change there?
Well, definitely the manufacturing and industry supplied, and it's very crucial to have that supply chain very efficiently and effectively tapped into. The UAE, Ras Al Khaimah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, second to none infrastructure when it comes to logistics, and the supply chain really runs the heart of supply chain is logistics. I see that there's more and more local supply chain being readily available in the UAE to supply manufacturers, but not only from a storage and import perspective. I see more supply chain being assembled, manufactured in the UAE, making the UAE supplies that actually goes into production or into further components that is actually being manufactured and produced in the UAE. So not only do we have Make in the UAE or Make in the Emirates in terms of manufacturing, but also Make in the Emirates in terms of supply chain components, all the way from building materials, starting from limestone to gypsum to PVC pipes, electric cables, things that go into, alternative energy, EV, batteries, everything is being developed here and put into OEMs, not only local manufacturers, but actually being exported back to OEMs across the world.
That's great. And, when you talk about the diversity and essentially all these companies that have come throughout the supply chain, throughout the ecosystem that's here in the country, Are there specific regions or countries of the world that you've seen more than others? You know, companies coming to the UAE, moving to the UAE, establishing in the UAE?
Well, I can see that generally, you know, if the 2 years in a row, Dubai 3 years in a row has been winning awards for the Greenfield FDI. The UAE in general is, whether it's Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, is all attracting FDI from all different countries. But some of them obviously are very key and very prevalent right now, where we're seeing a lot of China as a main destination. We're seeing India. We're seeing Europe, parts of Europe as well. And that has a lot to do with all the SEPA agreements and the trade agreements that are being signed with our federal governments and our Ministry of Economy and Ministry of Industry and Ministry of Investment. Obviously, the Ministry of Economy is driving that. The SEPA agreements have been a great push and a great door opener for countries such as Europe, Italy, UK, Germany, and China as well, and India. Those are always going to be key countries that are on our radar list, at least in Ras Al Khaimah. And obviously the geopolitical situation around the world and the political stability in the UAE, the transparency of our rules, regulations, of our policies is really being so positively seen. And not only from a positive aspect is it seen that way, but the credibility and the trust factor I see when I sit there with investors, whether they're family offices, industrial clients, they say, look, we can trust the UAE. We know you're not going to change things around. The tax situation globally is changing, and the UAE's tax regime has been really a positive magnet towards relocation of many industries from these countries and around the world.
Absolutely. I'd summarize it in speed of doing business and ease of doing business.
Absolutely.
Are both gold standard in the UAE.
Yeah. Yeah. The ease of doing business, obviously, you know, when I sit there with investors, and not a lot of people talk about price anymore. They talk about ease of doing business, transparency, speed of service, political stability, the ecosystem itself. And I think we tick the boxes in all of those areas, to name just a few.
Absolutely. So how have you seen RAKEZ evolve? As you know, over the past few years, since the last time we sat, I think we sat a couple of years back. I'm sure a lot has happened. We've worked very closely with you on many transactions and many deals. I just want to hear from you. How have you seen that evolution over the last, and where are you guys today? How do you see that changes in RAKEZ versus 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very proud to say that now we are I can boast a little bit and say we have the highest number of registered companies of all the economic zones in the UAE.
Amazing.
36,000 plus. So that's changed. We've doubled in our industrial number of clients that come to set up shop in Ras Al Khaimah. We have expanded massively our value proposition in terms of facilities, ecosystem, our industrial parks, our warehousing, our blue collar accommodation, our build to suit factories. We've been on an accelerated fast track mode to be able to. It's a good problem to have. Sometimes I feel we're playing catch up, but we're not keeping up with the demand. But it's a good problem to have. But I've seen RAKEZ grow exponentially in that space. But it's all about our commitment to keeping three things as our number one priority: our customer experience and our customer service, our competitive advantage in terms of our cost-effective ecosystem, and then again the speed of service and knowing your customer. And that's where I see RAKEZ really evolving into a major industrial high-tech hub. We've just commissioned a new zone with all of the stuff that Make in the Emirates is focusing on in the Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology, dedicated to advanced technology, dedicated to high-tech sector, dedicated to not only sales and distribution, but actually design, production, manufacturing, and distribution locally and globally. It's called Tech Flex.
Amazing. Tech Flex, okay. So what's the purpose of it?
The purpose of it is to house and welcome high-tech companies that will design their technology, super design houses, robotics, using AI, using high technology. It's all housing it's like a work, live, play city that is focusing on these type of businesses. It will be in our new area in Ras Al Khaimah, where production and manufacturing have to be in the high-tech categories, high-tech equipment, robotics, using nanotechnology, using and also companies that are into using technology for food sustainability. So anything that is related to the new high-tech industry 4.0 and beyond.
Amazing. Very interesting for the future of Ras Al Khaimah. How do you plan on bringing them over? What do you think is going to be the selling point? Why they would come and establish there?
Well, definitely number one is because of the ecosystem itself. It's going to have sustainability in a box. For example, the ability to build your own and design your own premises, the cost-effective destination, tapping into the value-added services that we provide in terms of manpower, in terms of talent, and itself the existing manufacturing and supply chain ecosystem that is in the UAE as well as in Ras Al Khaimah. I think having a dedicated zone for high-tech companies is a model that's not anything new. I mean, China's been doing it for some time, and that's where they have a lot of the technology companies there manufacturing and pushing their products into the supply chain. So when you're talking about laptops, when you're talking about semiconductors, when you're talking about robotics, they all use that kind of similar technology, and you'll find that likes of mind will be in the same area.
That's great. You're kind of already painting a picture for the future of RAKEZ and the future of Ras Al Khaimah. If you were to build on that, 5 years down the road, what could you foresee? How can you see RAKEZ evolving? And how can you foresee, Ras Al Khaimah evolving alongside what's happening there?
Well, our obviously the way we've been evolving, and it's a 5-year strategy, so it's very much in line with your question, is that we're always going to be a manufacturing and a business hub. Mm-hmm. I think that we're there to support SMEs. We're the largest in SMEs, and we're there to support the manufacturing and high-tech industry. So I think we're evolving with the UAE's strategic pillars, mm-hmm. and the vision of our leadership and to become and support that drive in Ras Al Khaimah from both the manufacturing and business hubs all the way down to tourism and livability. So I see it as a great place to live. We're going to have, we're not going to be, today we're just about 450,000 people. In 2030, we anticipate to be 1 million people. We anticipate to have 3 million tourists in Ras Al Khaimah at that time. But I think we're going to be a no-nonsense business, easy to do business with hub, and in manufacturing hub, and having the right ecosystem and supporting these clients to produce and become where you're having OEMs rather than just actually out in the UAE, such as EV manufacturers and automotive manufacturers who are already looking at manufacturing in the UAE.
Right.
So we'll get more of the international companies and more of the OEMs coming to set up and operate from Ras Al Khaimah.
Incredible. I can foresee a very, very bright future and a real serious transformation over the next 5 years. Yeah. So Ramy Jallad, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
today.
much. Thank you.
Much appreciated for you to sit down with me again and have this conversation. Wish you all the best of luck in your future plans with RAKEZ. And I'm sure, inshallah, 5 years from now, we won't wait that long, but we'll sit together probably another year or two from now. And there'll be a lot of fantastic achievements between now and then.
Thank you so much. Always happy to be here. Thank you.